Welcome to
You Can Sit With Us.
My name is Loriane. You can call me Lo.
Bing-a-ling-a-ling is Tieona.
Hey, I'm Ezzy, Miss E-double-Z-Y.
And last but not least, it's your girl Angela on the mic.
Pull up a chair.
Hi guys, welcome to our podcast. You can sit with us.
Hello.
I'm your girl Lo.
Hi. Wait, are you okay?
Yeah, the tummy's a bit rumbling, but I think I'll be okay.
You want to go and do that business again, Ange?
I'll just have to hold it.
Sure. You can excuse yourself. We'll pardon you.
Oh my God. Oh my.
I think it was just a tingle.
That's a great introduction. Okay, and hi, I'm Ezzy. How are you doing?
Bing-a-ling-a-ling is Tieona.
It's your girl Angela, not on the toilet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, girls, shall we jump into today's subject?
Let's do this.
All right, so I wanted to talk to you girls about competition.
Ooh.
A bit in general, but mainly competition with women.
Okay.
I wanted to... Okay, why did I want to talk about competition? For me, I don't feel like I have a healthy relationship, like a healthy way to deal with competition. So I wanted to see what you guys have to say and like share
So
things
again,
and
you're
stuff.
saying a healthy way to deal with competition with women, mainly.
Yeah, I just feel like when there is something with women is always on the pettiness. It's always becomes a bigger issue than what it is. And it always becomes more. And I'm just thinking, why is it that with women, we can't just pass something? I mean, I may be generalizing a lot, but I do feel that with men, they can just do one thing and it's done and they move on. And I just feel like with women, sometimes we may be stuck in our feelings or stuck in, I don't know what. Let's discover.
Yeah.
So first, I would like to ask you girls, if you remember of a time when you were competing or you felt like you were competing and it made you feel good.
Competition always makes me feel good.
You know what? Let me just stop right there. As an A
Wait, what?
is a very, very competitive person.
Mate,
Full
I
stop.
thrive on competition. Every day is a competition. Mate, when I tell you I'm a very competitive person,
All
I
right.
love competition.
Let's
it really,
go.
Like,
Tell us about this.
I don't know what it is. And
Like, give us an example first, like of one, and like how,
Wait,
what is
everything.
the feeling that you have?
getting good grades at work, looking great when you're going to the wedding, knowing that you look the best, going go-karting, even though there were haters that tried to stop me from being number one.
And
Even though there were haters that stopped me from being number one.
and she was a number one.
Do you know what happened? Yeah, no. Let's touch the go-karting thing because that actually really hurt me.
See what I mean?
Basically,
See what
yeah.
I mean, Loriane?
No. I am one of those people that even if I'm not good at something, I will get good at it and I will beat everybody at it. So this go-karting thing, I was learning. I wasn't listening to the rules, obviously, and I think they were clocking. This chick's not serious. She's not listening to the rules. So the final race came. And, you know, I was doing all right. And I knew I was actually at the front or maybe second or something.
She was
And I
second.
think what happens is you bash into a barrier and they come and they stop everyone from driving. They come onto the course and they help you so that then you can start again. So I crashed. Did they stop everybody? No. They waited for everybody to pass me, even though I was at the front. Then they stopped everyone. And I'm just like... No, this is a conspiracy. Because I would have won. And then they took my car out. Okay, now you can go because they knew that I wasn't listening to the rules, and that really, I'm not gonna lie, it pissed me off at the end. I was actually really annoyed.
She was
I would've
annoyed that I came.
Angela
second.
came first, and I
I
was
came
like,
second. Drew came first. I came
yeah.
second. But you were
I
actually
was-
second
I
or
was
third.
gonna get second.
Yeah, you were.
I was so angry
Can you believe? Loriane, how long ago was this? She's still vexed. Huh?
because I just wanted to, clear it up that it would have been me.
Oh wow.
By the way, but
you see
there's
her,
haters
your
out
friend.
here. But anyway,
There's
yeah.
haters.
So
Anyway.
you are a competitive person.
Yes, I am. But I think a lot of that stems from childhood.
I mean, you did say that your parent was saying, like, when you come with the grade and asking you, like, what about the other
Mate.
people in your class?
So say I'm good at numbers, I'm good with maths and science and stuff. So English, I'm like, nah, ain't for me. Writing stories, all of that ain't for me. I'll come home with a B, which is a good grade, by the way. Oh, you got a B. So what about the people that got A stars? Why do you think you can't get an A star? Because that's not my strength. Why is it not your strength? It's somebody else's strength. It means that you can be your strength. Why can't it be your strength? And I'm just like, geez, man, it's taken me years to get a B and it's not even good enough. Wow. So I think that is where my competitive streak has come from, is from my childhood of, well, if this person can be number one, that means you can be number one. How are they any better than you? You know?
To be honest, round of applause to the parents that try, man. It's because of them that you are amazing at whatever you do, I have to say.
Thanks.
But it's never hard to be on the receiving end and feel like, oh, that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
This wasn't enough. So I get that, but it was all for your own good. And
look at me now, competing over everything.
Oh, wow. Maybe it wasn't for your own good. You know what? I don't think competition is necessarily a bad thing. You know, for example, when someone has the monopoly over, I don't know, the person selling bread downstairs is the only person selling bread, and everyone goes there and he's got all the customers. And then slyly after 2 years, someone else comes and opens a bread shop. And that's when the competition begins. So the prices are going to be better because they know that if they lower the price on one side, they have to do the same on the other side to keep, or, you know, the quality is going to be good because if the quality drops, then everyone's going to go buy bread from the other person. You know, so even in terms of a business thing, competition is always, or not always, but it can be good. It's considered a good thing because it keeps the money flowing. It keeps the product of good quality. And it just keeps the business going. Now,
with you.
Yeah, exactly. So on the flip side, when it comes to humans and human relationship, it's not always, or it can be like quite poisonous, I think.
When did you feel like competition felt good?
To answer your question, sorry, I was just going off. Oh gosh, when was the last time? You know what? I feel like I'm competitive, but I'm also a good loser, as in like I feel like I've been taught to. It's hard, but as a kid, that is so important to learn that to lose is also okay. Like for example, in our family, you know, I'm the first of 5, like Ez as well, and we used to play games with Dad and everything. And when you didn't play that deck of cards right and you lost and you're there, just, you know how it just hurts to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I lost. Yeah. I was almost going to win. And then you start crying and you know how kids kick up a fuss, they go to the little corner. Guess what? My dad taught us to make fun of the person.
Make fun of the person that lost?
Because it's to teach them that how do I say it? Not make fun, but to kind of see that the moment is almost ridiculous.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep. That's what I'm trying to say. So you're just like, oh, are you going to try to win this time? Because last time, we know what all happened to you. Do you know, stuff like that. That you're just
That's
like...
good.
Yeah. But inside, you're kind of still like...
But you just don't show it.
You don't show it, or you just, if you cry about it, you know, everyone's going to make fun even more about, ooh, now she's being a baby. That's how it was in our family. Oh, now she's going to the corner to keep crying.
I'll be like, you fuckers.
I'll be so upset about that. I'll be like, screw all y'all. Even cry in peace. I lost and I can't even cry.
But that's the thing. So you cry once, you cry. Are you going to cry every single game? Because we have games every single time.
My brother did, boy.
House. Are you going to cry in every single game? So you just get used to like, you know what? It wasn't my chance. You won. Well done. And that's how we learned how to like deal with like losing and stuff. I mean, it's hard to lose. Let's face it. Yeah. It's really hard to lose, but it's part of life. And I think once you get that, so coming back to your question, gosh, I actually can't answer that as you've noticed.
Competition felt good?
When has competition felt good? Like, when's the last time I really felt like, to be honest, now, even in like my singing, say like, oh, I got the part, she didn't, or I got the audition, she didn't. That doesn't make me feel like great, to be honest. Because I know how the industry works, and I know that I was good for this role, but I won't be good for that role. And so that was, and the same for the other people, you know. I never felt like, oh, look at me. Oh, what? Do you know what I mean? I can't remember the last time I was just like, you know what, I deserve this, I'm amazing.
Maybe you're not that competitive then.
Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I love winning, but like when I beat you, I was amazing.
I guess
That
that's
was a technicality.
the-
Oh, was that?
That's your dad's effect,
Technicality.
Maybe
They were
that
haters.
was the time. Okay, you know what? The last time it felt amazing was beating Ez.
You didn't beat me, honey. I
What
demand a
about you,
regame.
T?
Ooh, I'm actually sitting down here thinking, whenever I ever had like a competition or I don't know, I feel like sometimes I'm competing, I don't even know. I can't really say I've had a time where I feel good about competition. I don't even think I'm that competitive, to be honest. I don't know. I really can't add to that. I cannot.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about children, so there was this village in the UK, and basically is the football coach of a group of under 10. So his decision was to only pick the best to play. So the parents got a bit annoyed because they were like, oh, like, why, like, only the best? And he wrote an email to the parents saying, I'm only interested in winning. I don't care about equal play time or any other communist view of sport. Does that or not as good need to work harder or demonstrate more during training or change sports? And then goes on, blah, blah, just try to make it short. You're not doing your son any favor by suggesting the world is fair or non-competitive. My view is to get them used to it. His name is Justin Burns or Dustin Burns something. So
I agree.
yeah, Mom, I'm gonna start with T.
Yeah. It's a great one.
What would you say receiving this type of email? So I'm gonna ask Tieona first because obviously she has children. You can put yourself in the role very easily, and I know you tell me a lot. Like as soon as the boys are in age, I'm putting them into sports and everything. So, like first, what do you think about this guy letter to the parents?
I agree with it 100%. I don't think I would take offense to that. I'll just be like, okay, what can I do to make sure my kid is practicing more, is doing more at training, is doing like, I agree with it. It is a dog world. Obviously, kids need to be structured and understand it at a young age. And obviously, if you're going to be into football or tennis or anything to do with sports, you naturally want them to kind of either progress to do something bigger or you're just doing it for fun. Then join the fun side. Don't join a serious kind of, So yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Because as soon as Zealand and Zalon's 5, I'm getting them into some kind of sport. And I'm going to be one of those hardcore moms. Every game, we're not missing one.
Well, okay, so what if they come and tell you now they're not going to make the cut, babes?
Then with that, I'll be like,
not
okay,
amazing.
what can I do to make them better? What can they do? Like, what do we need to do to
They're just
for this?
not the best.
You and your training.
See what I mean? When they actually come and tell you, like, your kids are sorry, they're not the best at sports, at football, so we're not going to pick them.
But then you can pick another sport.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be that, like, especially if they're still quite young. All right, then I'll go to another sport. Or I'll just not invest all my time in football. I'll do that another sport on the side as well, because obviously you do have to prepare for things like this, yeah.
Like reading a lot of like on the competition and stuff, I was reading that apparently children that get into sports with the aim of winning, they usually drop out by the age of 12. I mean, with this intensive, we have to win or this, a big percentage drop after like around 12 years old. They don't carry on that sport because it's just too much.
So exhausting.
What would be, yeah, go on. What would you do?
I was just going to say, I'm not a parent, but I feel like any parent would obviously be a tiny bit on the defensive side when it comes to what other people tell them about their kids. So if I receive this letter and I know that my little boy is trying his hardest to score a little goal on a Sunday or on a Saturday, and you're just there cheering like, "We go! Oh my God, you're amazing! Yay!" And then this silly coach comes and tells you like, "We're here to win," and obviously he's not. It hurts. Let's not lie. It's gonna hurt you, and so I think as a first reaction it would be like, "Oh my God, who does he think he is?" But I think if you think about it, as Tieona was saying, just focus on something else. It's just hard to hear it at first, isn't it? Or it
Yeah,
sounds like it
because
would
it's not
be.
every kid that's good at a sport or an art or, you know, whatever it may be. So that's just it. Don't see it as, okay, he's bashing my child or whatever. Probably him just giving your child the best opportunity you can give him. Stop letting him do football because he's shit, and then let him go sing and he's amazing.
But also,
You know?
But the question is it right to teach our kids to be so competitive in the first? Look at Ez.
Yes, hello.
Do you know what I mean? As in, is it?
I don't think
does this world have to be so competitive?
The world is competitive anyway.
I think
Only
that's natural selection.
Yeah, that's the whole premise of life itself. The reason certain species have existed is because they won the competition against another species. So it's like, that's just an essence of life. But I think in terms of healthy competition, I admire the fact that that coach was completely honest and said, look, this is what we're focusing on. So if you ain't feeling it, find something else. And as blunt as that is, and as difficult as that is to swallow, it's the truth. It's just what he's saying. So from that, you can take it as an opportunity to think, okay, what is it that we're actually trying to do here? Are we trying to make the next big football star, or do we just want him to have fun? What is our focus for this?
What about the team spirit? What about teaching that, you know, there is a striker, there's a defend person, what do you call it? Defendant?
Defender.
I'm dead.
I can't even speak today. So there is an attack. There's an
Imagine
attack.
her in front of the coach. What about the team spirit?
What about the defender?
He's gonna look at you like, wow.
Defendant. Learn
you
the
don't even
vocabulary
know.
first. So there's the striker, then there's the defender, and then there's the person that stays in the goal. Do you know all of these things? No, because I know in America you call it goalie. Here you say goalkeeper or something.
Okay. We also
is it?
say goalie as well.
Not really though.
Colloquialism, isn't it?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's why
In
I just
America,
said
they
the
say
person.
soccer, we say football.
Yeah, so that's why I just said the person in the goal.
Okay.
To make everyone happy.
Yep.
So there's different skills that you need in the football pitch anyway. Oh,
Yeah, but
let's
what
just say
he's
in
saying
any-
is the whole point of his team is not to teach you about life and kumbaya and let's join
Yeah.
together as a team.
No.
His
Because
competitive
he was
team.
like, so no having fun with your friend. No, we're here to play and
we
we're here to
go.
win.
I don't know.
and then it's up to you as a parent. Do you
Yeah,
want to
of
subject
course.
your kid to this or do you want to do something else? That's all
Yeah.
it is. At least
I
he was
get
being
it.
upfront.
No, I definitely get it. But at the same time, let the child be a child. Sometimes it's not always about winning. Like imagine the journey that the growth of the team when you do something together and you know someone breaks a leg, you carry him, you move forward together.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. But imagine how much sweeter it would be if that same team was carrying a trophy at the end of the season. You can still do all of that and win. So
Okay.
what's the problem?
Moving on. Like, what do you girls think is healthy competition? If you had to define it,
If you're doing it for charity.
what is
wow.
healthy competition?
If you're doing it for charity.
I mean, I don't think there is one.
Healthy competition
Or would you like me to give you my
is,
definition?
I think, an example of when you play Monopoly. And I'm just going to say, because I know the kind of games that I was playing, when you play Monopoly and you're not lying about where you got the money from, you didn't steal it from the bank. When you don't do that, that's healthy competition, because then you're just playing the game to play the game and have fun. But if you're stealing money from the bank and like...
How do you steal money from the bank and
when you're the
Monopoly?
banker...
Oh my god, that's how you play Monopoly. Hey,
Do you know what I
never
mean?
played like that. I feel like I was.
Notice.
I'm just saying.
How
Do
these
you know
people
what
you
I
play with
mean?
never not notice.
Wow.
I don't do that anymore. I'm just saying.
I
Anymore.
just get upset when
But,
I
you
land
know.
on someone else's place and I got to pay them rent. For fuck's sake.
But guess what? You know why you were stealing? Because you wanted to win at
Yes.
every cost.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That is not healthy.
No.
That's what I'm saying. The
That
opposite.
is one of the points of unhealthy competition.
That's what I'm trying to say. When you're not doing that,
Cheated.
that's when you know you're just doing it to enjoy the game.
When you
that's
step on
healthy
everyone's
competition.
heads just to get to that thing, and that's,
Say that
that's,
you
that's
won.
definitely
Yeah.
unhealthy.
But I've grown,
Healthy,
guys. I've grown.
I think healthy was kind of like back to the business model that I was talking to you before, where it keeps everything fresh. So even say like me and Tieona, we're both makeup artists. and I seen her makeup. I'm like, ooh, I like what she did. Right, I'm gonna do it even better than that. But I've already picked up a few tips from her. So and then you compare, you grow. I think that's healthy competition when it's not just one person having the monopole over the whole thing. But even like with singers, for example, I think we have quite of a healthy competition in our little circle of singer friends, where we all have different capabilities. Some people can reach higher notes. Some people are better with this. Some people are better with that. But we can all do this. There's a space for everyone. And I think that's when the competition is healthy in that sense, And then I guess with singers, you can also join choirs and you can actually be better together as well. I don't know. Yeah, for me, and long story short, healthy competition is when you can grow and learn from each other.
So from like that's some of the point that I've gathered. Healthy competition is when the focus is on the bigger picture, on the collective, when it's not so much on the individual, but on the bigger picture.
Exactly.
When you're less concerned about how the other person is doing and more concerned about yourself, reaching new levels for your own self. It's also recognizing, and that is a hard one, recognizing the value of the journey and not so much focus on just the goal.
That's what I was saying before.
I don't know why you're looking over here.
Recognizing that you gaining wisdom through the journey.
Amen to that.
Now, let's go back and think, when is a time where competition didn't make you feel comfortable? I'll start with mine.
Why are you looking at me?
I remember when I was younger, we used to at school, you would drawing class and stuff like that. And because I was quite good at drawing, so I remember this girl drawing, and you just have to color them. So she used this technique where you just do a line, and then your next line is just next to it. So you've got this pattern of straight line. And then everyone started doing this with her, like all the children in the class. And then the teacher was like, oh my God, this is so nice. And I was just looking at her like, what the fuck is this? And I remember feeling so bad about it. That was a long time ago, but that's a moment where I was just like, oh, I just felt so bad. Felt so annoyed that everyone would copy her thing, and then everyone would do it, and then doing it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not that great.
Yeah.
So do you have a moment?
Can you imagine little Loriane, like, it wasn't even all that, to be honest?
Just a line. For God's sake.
I think a lot of the times where it wasn't a positive feeling is like to do with school. Like one was again with drawing. I wasn't the best at drawing. I got better with my competitive streak. I taught myself how to draw. But in primary school, this girl, she was like my best friend in school, and we would like all drawing this green glass bottle, and like you had to paint it and shade it and all of these things. This is in primary school. Mate, I was struggling so hard. This girl, it was so nice. Everyone was looking at it. Oh, your drawing is so great. And I just started crying. So I was like so frustrated with myself. Like, do you know how many times I cried in that class? I was so frustrated with myself as to like, why can't I draw? She can draw it, but why can't I? So there is a flip side to, your parents saying, well, if someone else can do it, you can do it too. There's also the downside. And then I also remember another time where I went to school in Nigeria for like 3 months, by the way. Tell you that story another time. Oh, wow. And whilst we were there, I brought some of my Western skills with me, to get popular.
You were on top of the class.
So, no, I wasn't, mate. Do you know how hard it was? Anyway,
really?
So, in school when you would fold the paper in a certain way, and then it would be like you would move it side to side, and it would have like numbers on it. Like you'd pick a number, you pick a number, then you open it up, then you pick this color, and then you open it up. Yeah. So I was like, these kids ain't never seen this before. Oh, wow. I'm gonna stun on them. So mate, I made it, and I showed this chick that was next to me. I was like, yeah, look at this. Flash forward, did this chick not go, take my idea and show the whole class, and everyone's like, oh, look at what she made. Oh, now look, yeah, teach me.
Oh my God.
I was outraged.
So you were basically the girl that Loriane hated, that everyone started.
Maybe. No. I was Loriane in this. The girl took my idea, was there and showing it to everybody.
Show it like it was her own.
Yeah, and I'm like,
the cheeks.
Wow, that was my shot, but it's okay.
You blew it. Wow.
No, I know, right? But yeah, it's not always a good feeling to be competitive, no.
Guys, can I tell you about since we're in like this childhood memory lane type
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know if this fits in with competition, but did I like being at the center of attention? This girl did.
Oh, is it?
Even as a child. Only up to a certain age. Then trust me, the darkness was my friend. The not being in the spotlight. But yeah, I remember, I think I was probably like 6 or something. And it was my friend's birthday. And so everyone brought out the cake and started singing happy birthday to him. And then this little girl, speaking about myself, started saying, it's my birthday as well today too.
Oh
was
my
it your
God.
birthday?
No,
Wait, what?
it was not my birthday.
Up in there.
Wait,
That is horrible. That's levels.
Wait, how old were you? How old were you?
I was 6.
Oh, you were still young.
So wait, I was just like, oh, it's my birthday too. And guess what? The whole class had to sing happy birthday to me and share the piece of cake with me because I wanted it to be my birthday so bad as well.
Oh my goodness.
And to this day, I still remember. And I went home and my dad was just like, so this birthday that wasn't yours. I was just like, yeah, I know. I just wanted people to sing happy birthday to me too.
Yeah, but it will come when it's your birthday.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't get that
The
at
poor
that
boy.
time. He had to share his birthday
I
with
know.
me.
Oh my God.
And then what happened when it was actually your birthday? Was it? Oh wait, hold up.
I don't know. I can't remember. I just remember that bit where I made the whole class sing happy birthday to me as well.
And did
And
you feel
share
good?
the cake.
And share the
That's
cake
the
and
worst
everything.
part.
No conscience.
Blow the candles and everything.
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean? Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but
Wow.
I must have loved it. Imagine this little girl, stop. It's my birthday too.
I just remembered.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
How about you, T?
I feel like I'm actually drawing a blank. I just remember when I was at school, secondary school, because I was like one of the best in my art class. And you know when obviously
You're so
everyone
good
would
at
do their
art.
painting or whatever, and then the teacher would be like, "Oh my God, look at such and such. Yes, well done to you." And like, you know, they would like call your name out individually. I swear to God, I always used to pray like, she better call my name. She better call my name. And yes, of course, I was one of those names to be called. I was like, yes. But if my name was not called, best believe I would have been vexed and I would have come back on some next level next time.
Wow.
So yeah.
Maybe you are competitive then.
So maybe I am
Yeah.
secretly.
Did
Yeah.
you guys have, maybe this is an American system thing. Did you guys have like best students of the term always like up on your,
No.
okay, because
have
ours,
They do that in Nigeria though.
yeah, ours was quite a small school, so it was easy to keep tab of like
I think
everyone's
we did
grades
have
and
that in
everything.
my, but it was just in my like history or my RE class. It
No,
wasn't
we
the
had,
class
you
I cared
enter
about.
the school and then on the wall there's best student of the term. So there's like two, they called them like honor rolls and principal's honor rolls. Going back to what we were saying before, I think it's, as kids, we are trained to be competitive. You know, we always have like student of the year, student of the term, student of this, best in this, applaud the student that are better. And
I've
is
never
it
thought about,
okay?
Yeah, I
Is
don't know.
For example, there's a sorry, Lo, to I'm gonna
No,
let
let's
you.
go.
There's this school that does things a bit differently. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about this. Let me see if I pronounce this right. It's by a guy called Steiner. I'm just gonna say Steiner School. In Italian, is Staneriana, which is basically his name. Where they do things a bit differently. So they don't follow the curriculum of a normal school. They will still teach the same things, but differently. So, for example, the alphabet is taught, I think, with like colors and sounds rather than A, B, C, D, E. It's like A, B, K, and then with like letters, sounds and colors and stuff, so that kids assimilate things differently. But also, for example, I have 2 little cousins that go there, and they say that at the end of the term, they write a letter to each student and they draw a picture saying, this is everything that the student brought to the class this term. This is how this child is portrayed. And they just draw a picture of this child and how they view the child. And that's that. And so what I'm trying to say is that, is there different ways to teach kids and to teach ourselves maybe, that society doesn't have to be a competition, and that you can learn things differently and that you can be inclusive in your learning?
I feel like that we're setting them up to fail then.
What, that school?
No, if you teach them that society is not, a competition, because it is. Like like you said before about businesses, in a way, I feel like a business kind of need a competitor to kind of thrive and like, do good and what's the next thing or who's going to be the best, because if it's just you, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I think, like on your point, Angie, it is a little bit worrying in terms of the value that a child might place on themselves just on the basis of, did I get an A? Am I going to get an applause for this? Am I going to get to go on stage? Oh, I got a D. I always get Ds. That means I'm worthless and I never get noticed. And I've literally never even thought of that on the flip side. Like, I've always been taught to sort of strive for that A and try and, be top of the class and always, and then I'd achieve it and I'd feel amazing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so great. The value that I have is because of these A's, and I'd get to go on stage and get the prize and da 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 da. But then I've never actually thought, with all of this celebration going on for these few kids, all the other kids,
to the other kids
that have probably tried so hard to maintain their grades, to come into school even is an achievement. Like, that isn't really celebrated in school. Yeah. And so I do think, like, I do agree that we are trained to be very competitive from a very young age, and that the things that we hold as a higher value might not necessarily be the right things to look at.
So, do you know that there is a study they did in like some college in Dallas where they took 110 12th grade high school students in a Dallas school, and they completed a questionnaire on competitiveness, gender role orientation, self-esteem, depressive symptom, loneliness, aggression, empathy, close relationship qualities, and school grades. So the teenage boy scored really high on competing to win. So they wanted to find out how, because there is competition to win and competition to excel. Where competition to win is when you feel like you're superior to someone. Competition to excel is when you're excelling even as your own self. You're excelling for yourself. So a teenage boy scored very high at competitive to win than girls. But there was no gender difference with competition to excel. Now, for the girls, to win was linked to a higher level of depression and loneliness, and to fewer or less close friendship. Competition to excel was like perfectly fine. So, knowing that, do you feel like men and women are made to handle competition differently?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think psychologically we're built so differently. We're built very, very
If anything, I feel
But
like
do you
man's
think
more...
like this is a social construct, or do you feel like we are just as competitive, but it's just different social constructs?
Yeah, I think guys and girls are definitely both competitive, but it's definitely built differently. Just because our minds are built differently, the way we think is built differently, our psychology is different. So I think what we strive for is going to be different as well. Or how we assimilate competitiveness.
I think, again, even going back to cavemen days, men competed for food or whatever. They were the ones that would bring the food, but they wouldn't be in competition with against each other. They might even join forces to go out and get the food. But in terms of like the women, we're always competing against each other. In looking at like schools and where male and female students tend to excel, or what the stereotypes are, like boys, the stereotype is, you play sports and you have that sense of camaraderie and team play, like playing as a team and like joining forces. But then girls, we're not really stereotypically pushed towards that. We don't have that outlet of joining forces for an end goal. So I think that sort of plays a part into why, I don't know, we compete differently, I guess.
I think guys do compete against each other.
But it's more friendly.
Well, I don't know. Even if you're talking about caveman days, I mean, everyone wanted. There was a power game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Expanding territory, gaining more land, all of that. I mean, even the wars that we have going on, it was never like,
I just feel like guys get over it more. Like with girls, when we lose, it's like we hear about it next week and the weekend after. You know, with
Yes.
guys, it's just like it's there and done. Okay, I win.
I think
Cool.
ours is
Good
definitely
man.
more emotional, and we kind of like hold the grudge about losing or winning. But with guys,
Yeah.
they definitely compete for power, man.
Yeah.
They
To look
Yeah,
big.
but for them, it's more like it's all a game. It's like, oh, you know, it's kind of like playing a game. Like it's not, like you said, it's not emotional. It's not, my feelings aren't going to be hurt if I'm not the one on top. But with girls, it's like very personal.
I feel like for men, competition, it's seen as, it's a good trait to a guy. To, as a girl, competition may see as something like, it's not seen the same. I feel like guys are allowed, they don't feel bad if they win, they can even joke around it. And the way we raise them, we just allow them to have this trait of being competitive and be wanting to win. They compete to win. They feel like, okay, we're playing this game, we're playing to win. And then they can just joke about it and move on. Whereas girl, I feel like we are like maybe raised differently. And I feel like with us, it's hard for us to win at the expense of someone else and like seeing someone else lose. Maybe because we're more like, I don't know, emotional being. Like I feel like it's harder for girls to compete.
That's a shame though that none of them was competing in the Hexalian just to win, not to go above that and beyond.
I just feel like with women, you can't share it like openly. I'll give you an example. There's a lot of women apparently that if you have a friend who's a little bit bigger, you won't share a certain things because you may feel like uncomfortable that she's not feeling great. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I can relate to that, you know.
repeat that. Sorry, I'm not getting it. Repeat
get
the
it.
example. I really want to understand that.
Like I'm taking the example. Let's say you have a really good diet or you're on this diet, you're doing very well. And then you have another friend who's a bit bigger and you know she's struggling with her weight. For women, sometimes it can be to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm maybe not gonna share my journey and my diet and how it's progressing so positively with that friend because I know she's struggling and I'm going to be a bit more mindful.
Well, because you
You
don't
know
want to
what?
seem like a threat. In essence, I guess.
Well,
Not like a threat, but like
I think
I feel like I am conscious of the other person's
struggle.
feeling and struggle a lot. Like I feel like women, we are conscious of the other person, and that's why sometimes we may suppress or like our competitiveness or things like that because we may be conscious of the other person.
I think that has to do with character, because a lot of women use that at their advantage in the sense that I know that her weakness is the weight, so I'm gonna bring it up.
those
Do you know what I
are
mean?
evil winches.
Yeah. So as in, I feel like what you're saying is because that's what you would do as a kind person. I don't feel like a lot of women are in the same wavelength as you. But having said that, I don't know if I was in that situation and I know that one of my friends is struggling with the weight and I was doing this new weight loss thing, I feel like I would bring it up to share it with her and be like, hey, I'm doing this new thing. I don't know if you wanted to try it with me because I know that you're struggling a bit. Maybe we can do it together. And I would help her in that way. So I wouldn't see it as a competition. I would just see it as maybe a way that
Would
I
you
could
share your
encourage.
win? Would you be
Oh, I
like,
see
I'm
what you
doing
mean.
this last thing. I lost 5 kilos.
I
This is
see
so
what you mean.
amazing.
Okay.
Like,
Maybe
I'm
I
just-
would say like, hey, I've lost 5 kilos. You can do it too. In that sense, I would share it in that to encourage you to like, if I can do it and you know I was big, you can do it too.
I was reading this article and it says that women learn that they are not supposed to be competitive and win at other expense. Their natural competitive spirit cannot be shared openly and happily or even jokingly with other women. And then it says competition is often like, if you think about competition, you think about aggression, you think about power, and all those feelings that could be healthy feelings and shared in a healthy way when it's healthy competition are often suppressed, and then it becomes laced with guilt and shame and low self-esteem. Because those, how can I word it properly? This healthy competition that we have a hard time sometimes women to deal with is suppressed and then becomes something else and then becomes unhealthy.
I think with me, I have to work with examples because all I can think of is I feel like women are extremely competitive.
Yeah,
But not in a
women's
positive
are
way,
definitely competitive.
But you're saying that they have to repress that.
But I'm saying, is it a healthy competition?
No, it's
No,
not.
No, I don't think
But I
it's
think that's
healthy.
because we're not encouraged to be competitive, so we don't know how to be competitive in a healthy way. Whereas with men, it's encouraged, so they know how to be competitive, but within certain like boundaries. With women, because we don't really know what healthy competition looks like against other women, we're like kind of underhand and a little bit more sly about how we compete against each other, is what I feel anyway.
Because this is unhealthy competition for me is when I feel like the gain is limited. There is only a limited portion. Like, like someone, you may compete for something and you're thinking, oh, this is limited. When not, it's like there is a piece of the cake for everybody. It's not a limited slice.
Yeah.
Another one is when you're seeking attention and validation from someone else. This is not healthy competition. And a lot of time, this is the main, like girls are competing for guys.
Yep.
It's not in a healthy way.
Yeah. I agree.
When tearing people down, when it comes from a place of self-doubt, and when also, and that's the big one, when the focus is only on the goal and you're not appreciating the journey and you're like driving for this thing that you want, forgetting that, okay, you're driving for this, but all these things that you're learning are part of the process.
I agree. To jump in on one of the points that you're saying about like looks and just validation, and I think women sometimes you have to look at the people putting others down because of their competition, and you'll realize that it's because of certain insecurities that they are dealing with. You know how they say like bullies have been bullied, and that's because they're going through something that they're trying to work through, and the only way that they can do that is by being aggressive and by being competitive and by being or by picking on someone that's maybe not as talented or as pretty or as whatever. So I feel like there's a lot of that going on with women and guys, to be honest. But with women, I feel like there's always an ulterior reason behind it. So even with the competition, you always have to look like, does she see me as a threat? Is that why she's treating me this way? And if so, how can I not be a threat to her and actually be like, you can make her feel included rather than excluded, like seeing you from the outside.
But why does there have to be so many levels to your thought process in how you approach another female? Like, I find that so tiring. I know that I'm quite a competitive person. Like, I'm opinionated. I'm not the kind of person that is just going to sit in a corner. So, but then with that being said, I also now have to ensure that I'm conducting myself a certain way so that I'm not coming across as threatening to another person. That's tiring, having those thoughts in your head. It takes a lot of effort.
I think it's only when someone is treating you a certain way, that's when you have to go beyond what they're treating you like and see, is it because...
I feel like I sense it sometimes when I'm at work, or if we have these people called bureaus that come in, there's a help out if we're short staff. I feel like I can sense it sometimes from them, and I feel like I have to give extra, like, hi, you okay? Do you need any help? Let me know, you know what I mean? An extra push to let them know, like, look, I'm not this stuck up bitch that I look like. I'm actually very open, very like lovely.
I agree with you. And that's what I mean by being like approachable, especially when you're new at work and stuff. You're already create in your mind like, ooh, she seems that way. But if instead you go out there and break the barrier and be like, hey, welcome, da 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 da, they're like, oh my god, I thought she was like that, but she's actually really, really.
A lot of people have said to me that they thought I was, I thought my shit didn't stink. I think I deserve. I'm like, listen, I just don't have a face that smiles. Doesn't mean I'm the worst person in the world. Like, do you know what I mean? I have a heart of gold.
But then when you have this feeling where you want to go for what you want and people perceive you then a certain way, and then you're starting then to change yourself so that people can accept you, or you don't come across as I'm a bitch or I'm this or I'm that. This is not healthy.
No. With that, for me, that's where that whole all rules have changed for me. Because if that's what I want and that's where I'm going towards, and I know my goal, and obviously you're not going to help me get there by me trying to kind of water down who I am to get there. I'm sorry, that's your business. Think what you need to think. I'm getting there.
But the question is, why are you changing? Are you changing because you want to become an approachable person, because you want to better yourself in that way? Or are you changing to please other people? You always have to see the reason why. Like, if I'm changing because, look, I have this horrible personality, I'm trying to change, I'm going to make the effort because I want to be approachable, and I want to portray myself in this way because I want to be that person. Or everyone hates me. Ugh, fine, let me try to smile. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you doing it? You have to ask. Like, you're saying you're changing at the expense of yourself, but why are you trying to change? Like, why aren't you being yourself? Are you trying to better yourself?
No,
Because if you're changing to better yourself, that's all is positive.
No, I think for me, it's not that I'm trying to smile, I'm trying to this. It's I don't smile, but I'm not a horrible person.
Yeah.
So I know you want to smile, so I'm going to be like, hey, you okay? Because I can smile, I can do that. But
But
don't
it's
do it every
more
day.
so in the case of, like, let's say you're a boss and you're behaving like a boss
Ooh.
bitch. Like when Nicki Minaj was going on about the pickle juice.
Pickle juice?
What?
You know, guys, sorry.
No, what happened?
Oh, I think I remember seeing this.
You have to be a beast. That's the only way they respect you. I came up under Wayne, and Wayne has his way of doing things. When Wayne walks on a set and say, don't talk to me, have my music ready, get the up out of my face and I'm gonna blow this in your face all day, it's cool. But every time I put my foot down and stand up for myself, it's like, we've heard about Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj shut down a photo shoot. Oh my God, no one wants to work with Nicki Minaj. I'm glad you heard. Now, when I come to a photo shoot, let it be of quality. You know why? Because I put quality in what I do. I spend time and I spend energy and I spend effort and I spend everything I have, every fiber of my being to give people quality. So if I turn up to a photo shoot and you got a $50 clothes budget and some sliced pickles on board, you want to know what? No, I am going to leave. Is that wrong for wanting more for myself, wanting people to treat me with respect? But you know what? Next time they know better. But had I accepted the pickle juice, I would be drinking pickle juice right now. When I am assertive, I'm a bitch. When a man is assertive, he's a boss.
Bossed up.
He bossed up.
Yeah, he bossed up.
No negative connotation behind bossed up, but lots of negative connotation behind being a bitch. Donald Trump could say, you're fired. Let Martha Stewart run her company the same way and be the same way. Oh, evil. But Donald Trump, he gets to hang out with young and have 50 different wives and just be cool. Oh, Donald, we love you. Donald Trump. But when you're a girl, you have to be like everything. You have to be dope at what you do, but you have to be super sweet. And you have to be sexy, and you have to be this, and you have to be that, and you have to be nice, and you have to... It's like, I can't be all those things at once. I'm a human being.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like with women, this attributes that the guys have with women, they may be sometimes perceived like, okay, maybe you calm down, you know?
100%. Even in the workplace, like the roles that I've worked in are primarily white males, and, you know, they can carry themselves in a certain way, but if I were to carry myself in that same way, I'm seen as a bitch, or I'm seen as heartless or ruthless. Like, you really do have to sort of word your opinions in a certain way, like completely differently to how
And
your
then
male
does
counterparts
that
do.
affect the way we interact between women?
You know, the example that I was giving in the previous podcast, where when I was a younger girl, I would always look for the guy to serve me, whether it was a cashier, whether it was at the airport, because I was afraid of the girls. And that's because they wouldn't let me have my way. So from a young age, I was trained to think, or I trained myself to think like, women are going to be bitchy. So take the other road. Do you know what I mean? But, and you have to ask yourself, like, why are we perceived like that?
I think it's difficult because women are perceived in a way where we are always we always need to be on show. We always need to have a smile on our face. You know, we always need to be approachable in a certain way. Why is that? Why is that the case? Men don't always have to be smiley and approachable, you know? Like, for instance, when a man catcalls you and says, oh, babes, you look better with a smile. But, like, there was an instance where I was on an escalator on the underground and a waste man was like, oh, yeah, babes, why don't you smile? You look better when you smile.
Shut up. No, that's when they need to shut up.
The thing is, though, the problem with these things is the people that say them, their mental capacity isn't very high, but you want to help them out and teach them. So I tried to engage in intellectual conversation with this brother, and he wasn't receiving it because he's not very intelligent.
Illiterate.
I was just basically saying to him, listen, would you say the same thing to a guy? Nah, man. No, I'm not no batty boy. Why would I say that to a guy? Listen, it's not about whether you're gay or not. You wouldn't say it to a man. Why, me as a woman, do I need to be on show for you, smiling for you? I'm not here to perform for you.
Exactly. I hate when they
Mate,
say
picked the
that.
wrong audience. The guy had no idea what I was talking about. But hey, I tried. But yeah, I think the problem is, you know, we do see each other as competition until we smile at each other.
At each other.
It's
No,
so
you don't
weird,
have to smile
though.
at guys. Just
yes,
at
no,
each
no,
other,
no.
maybe.
I don't
them.
smile because I don't want my makeup to crack, especially if I'm going through the day. Because I got seriously deep smile lines, and if I smile, it's over. So my bitch face is on until 3
Isn't that
o'clock.
what Kim does? That's why she's always like,
Oh, is that why?
yeah.
Even
It's
Victoria
hysterical.
Beckham as well. Remember,
Yeah.
she doesn't smile anymore.
But you know how
Interesting.
even in the workplace, you come in and you're not smiley for one day, and it's like, ooh, someone's on her
Yeah,
period.
are you ill? It's like, for God's
Or
sake,
like,
please fuck off.
And a guy, it's just like, ooh, he's a bit affirmative today. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely different. It's definitely different the way. But I feel like between women, I think we can definitely change the narrative.
I think it's happening slowly.
So
Even complimenting each other. I feel like now we're starting to do that. Not us as in friends, but like women on the street. Like, your hair, where did you get that hair? But I want to... Or I don't know.
Where did you get that
You
hair?
look great. You look beautiful. But that's the thing. I want to say more of that rather than where did you get those shoes.
I
You
just
don't
be like,
need
oh,
to
I
know.
love
Just
your
say that they're
blending.
pretty. Exactly. Just say that you like, you appreciate it. Like someone today saw my boots, and obviously
oh, I thought you said my boobs. I was like,
the
what?
boots that I was wearing.
Yeah.
And then, but instead of saying I like the boots, she's like, where are they from? Because I need to get myself a pair. And I don't know. And again, that's because of the competition.
Because she need to get
But
herself
maybe
a
you
pair.
just need to. But you can say and ask.
Did she say she need to get herself a
no,
pair?
No, I replied.
I've
I was
seen
just
girls
like,
and be like, "Oh my god, your boots are so cute. Like, where did you get them from?"
yeah, exactly. But you start with I like them or they're so cute, not like,
But
oh, hey,
wait,
where did you get your boots from? Do you know what I mean?
Kiss my
Sorry,
teeth,
but some
kiss my
chicks are
face.
actually evil, you know.
If
Have
I
you
get
watched
that
Mean Girls?
vibe, I'll say somewhere far.
I'm sorry, because the girl would be like, oh, I really like your boots. Where'd you get them? And then turn around and she actually thinks they're shit. And then she's talking to her friends. So don't always believe
shit, I
these
do
compliments,
that,
you know.
I'm like, oh my
Tiona.
god, your brows are so nice.
Tiona's shady. Watch out for Tiona.
Tieona, do you give
She's one of them
shady.
ones giving out fake compliments.
Do you know what it is? It's when the brows are extreme, where you're just like, what are you? And someone says, I really like your brows.
I'm bad, you know.
So I was reading this article that these two authors, they went to different tribe and tried this experiment. So they went to the Maasai tribe, which is apparently very male dominant. They did this experiment over there, and then they went to the Khasi Hills, which is in northeast India, and this tribe is more like I don't want to say more woman, but it's basically the women's there own most of the properties, and then it's passed on from the mother to the daughter, so it stays in the woman.
matriarchal.
Yeah. So they did this competition where they had to throw, like they have a bucket and you need to throw a ball. Every time you throw the ball, you get a certain amount of money. Or you can choose to do the same, but then you can double your amount of money if you choose to compete with a random opponent. And then so they did it in the US. Obviously, most of the men wants to compete. and women not so much. They did in the Maasai tribe, and same, just like the US. I think so. 50% of the men was happy to compete, while 26% of the women, the Maasai tribe women, didn't want to compete. And then they did the same for the women in the Khasi Hills. And so 56% of the women wanted to compete, while 39% of the men wasn't interested in competing. So that's just to show that giving the right culture and giving the way you brought up differerently, it actually changes your approach to competition, I feel. Like those women were willing to compete where the men weren't. So yeah, just to show like different culture, women are definitely just as competitive as men, if you're like questioning that. But it's just like, how can we embrace competition? Like, this is what I'm trying to get today, is like, we are competitive. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But how do we embrace, how does it not become catty and you're comparing yourself and you're trying to suppress someone or you're trying to do something, and then this is not healthy.
I think because it was a matriarchal society, you have to think, it goes back to what I was saying before about power. So if I know that my inheritance is going to be passed via me and my children are going to get the lands that I own, of course, if you ask me to compete, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to compete because I know what I'm competing for, and I know what's in my power. But in the Western society, it's quite patriarchal most of the times, and it's the guys that compete for power. And I think that's what I was saying before, that it's not that we don't have competition, is that I feel like the guys are trained to compete because for power. And here we don't have the same power that perhaps you can have in a matriarchal society. I know that I have to have kids because my name is going to be passed on to them rather than my husband's, or my inheritance is going to be passed on to them, etc. Here it's all the guy's inheritance, the guy's name, everything. So I'm not going to be competing for a name because I know that's not
not for you.
It's not for me. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I was saying before about power.
Great, that's all I have, ladies.
Aw, that was a great topic.
Yeah.
So
liked it.
what will be, I don't know, how can we conclude this nicely?
So I think we've said that women are as competitive as men, or maybe
They are, given
Under
the right
circumstances.
given the right circumstances, they are just as competitive as men.
but we have to learn how to make it healthy, a healthy competition, especially between each other, isn't it?
I think basically, like when you have a rival or when you're competing, like is good to understand, and like you said, this person, the rival, the person that you're competing against, should push you to be just as good or even better than them. But then when you focus too much on the person you're competing, you're removing your focus from what you're trying to achieve and putting your focus on the person, when actually the focus should be on what you want to achieve. And I feel this is when it becomes like unhealthy.
And I think in being competitive and winning, especially, I think it's important to put yourself in the other person's shoes, because I'm sure that you've lost a few battles. You know what it feels like to lose. And as long as like you can empathize with the loser and not like stomp all over people's heads in order to win or to make them feel a certain way for losing, I think that's also something that's got to be said. Like, okay, cool, you won. Just be aware of, obviously there's a person that didn't win, and take it from there.
I think also for the competitive individuals out there, I think it's important to say, yes, competition is a positive thing, great, but also take it easy. Don't be so hard on yourself. You do not have to win everything. You know, you're only human. You're good at some things, you're not so good at other things, and that is okay. So, you know, just learn the value of I guess, like you said, the journey of a competition as opposed to just the end goal. So yeah.
And on the higher note as well, like if I win, then you win. It's like if we're seeing each other as a collective and if we're being like good Christian or good, like, I don't know,
My
whatever.
success is your success.
My success is your success.
Yeah, definitely. As a people, as the human race, it's true.
I think when you see it as a collective, definitely. Like if now and your fashion is blowing up, and you know, I'm gonna be like, I'm definitely gonna be winning because you're winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that is the collective that. But can we say that for?
It's because we've created a collective, like between the four of us. So it's sort of like extending your circles and sort of joining everyone together, I guess.
Well, actually, well, adding on that, you can say as a collective, because obviously if, say for instance, like you said, if Lo became big, super designer or whatever, not just the four of us, but just other people that was on the same wavelength of us, they'll just be looking to her like, okay, she made it, there's hope for us, but rather than...
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, of course.
In the bigger picture, you should see it like, okay, if one win, the whole human race wins. If we progress in one thing, if we're pushing it to a better stage, it's not like, oh my God, this person pushed it. Like, oh my God, what can I do? It should be like, yeah, let's push it even higher and let's all win.
It's like when you see what was it? Issa Rae. Who are you rooting for?
Everybody black.
Everybody black.
Yes,
As
honey.
in because
Issa Rae?
yeah. I don't know if it was
Some
was
red
it-
carpet somewhere.
Yeah, I want to say Emmy Awards
Yeah.
or something like that. But anyways, it's because the success of any black person would have been an amazing feeling for
Because
her.
it helps to elevate the next group of black people.
And because it is, it's a collective, isn't it? In that sense, for her.
Well, I feel like that. Like, whenever I watch Miss World and I see Jamaica there, I'm like, yes, you know, like, if Jamaica's in top 5, I'm rooting for her because, okay, my Jamaican people are there, but it's not physically me. If only people could be like that.
Again, that's your collective. So we have to see, like, what our collective is and just take it from there.
Yeah. But then if Jamaica don't win, I'm rooting for the African girl. If the African don't win, it's the next best
yeah, the
thing.
next down. Same in the World Cup.
Next time person.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Please remember to follow us on our Instagram. You can sit with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and our Twitter is.
You can sit WS Pod.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.